Hi, I'm Jacob Lavender. I was a technical designer on this project.
And I'm Nathaniel Wattenmaker. I'm a brand manager on the title.
You guys talk about what this VR experience is all about.
This VR experience is like a virtual reality magic set where you can learn from Penn and Teller how to do magic and also how to subvert expectations to prank your friends.
This is a unique experience because you're using two players, and it's not an online experience. It's a local couch kind of co-op experience. Go a little bit how the second and first players interact with each other.
There's a number of ways to interact with the second player in the room, but mostly what you're doing is you're acting as a host and an entertainer. So when you first get Penn and Teller VR FU, U, and U, you actually learn a number of tricks and pranks from Penn and Teller, and then from there, you actually invite your friends over, lull them into a false sense of security with a couple of slower, softer games and things like that, and then you troll the shit out of them with things like sliding eggs underneath their hands with a whack-a-mole type of game, that sort of thing. It's a device for being cruel to your friends.
So like essentially, it's a party game for adults.
Yeah, I think that's a solid way to put it.
Yeah.
So can you talk about how you guys worked with Penn and Teller and what have they provided in terms of support and creative ideas to help make this project a reality?
Penn and Teller wanted to be really involved in this project, and they actually flew us out to Vegas quite a few times so that we could collaborate with them on how to get this performance to be something that's in their brand, and so that they could something that they could kind of attach themselves to. And it's been one of those things where, as the game was being developed, Penn and Teller just kept inserting themselves into it so that it really is filled with them.
Yeah, there's tons of like nods to like their lore and their show and lots of like classic jokes. And it's also been like a really rich experience for us as developers as well, because there's a great give and take between the two sides of it, because we come from different worlds. So some things that are great showmanship and great entertainment are really bad game design. And just the opposite, really, really great game design can be super poor for actually putting on a great show and experience. So we had to actually learn a lot from each other, give and take from each other, to craft something that really does feel totally new.
So you guys talk about you don't need two headsets to have this experience. You only need one. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's just one headset, and as the person who bought it, you learn from Penn and Teller on how to do it, and then you bring your friends over and you use the social screen, you use that second screen, the TV, the computer, whatever you have it on, the PlayStation VR, and that way you can participate with your friend even though they're in the headset. Mm-hmm. You're both playing together.
So how many different kind of, you guys called them bits, how many bits do you have in the game currently?
There are 14 in the title. We had to trim one for the Quest edition, but you won't miss it.
Did you guys plan on any more bits, or is this kind of like the game's going to come out and everyone's going to have a good time with it?
Well, at first, everyone's definitely going to come out and have a good time with it. We don't have any immediate plans to leap into development, and that's because Gearbox Software has another project underway at the moment, small title, Borderlands 3.
Very small. We would probably never heard of it.
Yeah, so we are absolutely all hands on deck for that, and depending on how this lands, we don't know what the future holds quite yet, but right now it'll be land Borderlands and land it well.
You guys are using VR very uniquely and how it should be used. You know, you're not just slapping a game, making a first-person shooter or something. You're making it very interactive. So talk about how you made it in VR and where this idea came from.
Well, it was one of those things where we wanted to have interaction between the person who owns the headset and also the person who they bring over. We wanted it to be a great experience to learn how to do VR and teach it to your friends and introduce them to the headset and virtual reality. So the way that we designed it was for it to be multiplayer, was for it to have that sort of asymmetrical gameplay where one of you takes one controller, one of you takes the other one with the headset, and you can play together. And that was the pillar from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. And because it was a small team and because it was a partnership with Gearbox and Penn and Teller, we got to have these amazing interactions where this small team of between 10 and 15 developers is interacting almost on a weekly basis with Penn and Teller and even with Randy himself to like really evaluate this as an entertainment product and a magic product, like even beyond that kind of game factor. So even over the course of development, it took on some really interesting twists and turns. We brought in professional entertainers and magicians from Las Vegas August to give us feedback and things like that. So it was just a really, really rich experience and a different one. And so we landed on a different kind of product.
You demoed on the Oculus Rift S and the Quest. Is there any plans for HTC Vive or PSVR?
Yes, we'll be available on all major VR platforms. So in total, that will be the Oculus Rift S, the old school Rift, the Quest, the HTC Vive, PSVR.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because HTC has those additional sensors you can purchase. Did you guys mess around with that or try to use those in any way, shape, or form?
That wasn't something that we really wanted to integrate into the game. We wanted it to be as accessible as possible, so you just own the headset, you own the game, and you have everything you need to do. You have everything to play.
When does the game come out, and what platforms will it initially release on?
We'll land on June 27th, and we should be on all of those platforms on day one.